Should I like acknowledge that Jaden isn't here first and then he's going to come in a sec? Or like just sort of pretend he's not here?
I don't know. Just do
Okay.
it.
Okay. All right. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 133rd edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by a resident Irish citizen, aka Fitzy, aka Liam.
Hello.
Hello. Hey. I decided. Yeah, I didn't decide. So I'm just gonna. Nah, screw it. I'm just gonna go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. And this week, that movie is Captain Phillips. I came so close to forgetting what the title was. It opened in the US on the 11th of October 2013. It was directed by Paul Greengrass. It's a crime thriller, and the synopsis says the true story of Captain Richard Phillips and the 2009 hijacking by Somali pirates of the US flagged MV. Oh my god, Maersk, Alabama. I don't know what that word is. The ship Alabama, the first American cargo ship to be hijacked in 200 years. Okay. But hang on, didn't the film make a big deal about that there's other pirate activity and this was sort of a fairly regular occurrence and that didn't he have the whole conversation with the crew of what did you expect?
Well, Tom Hanks made a big deal of it, but I think everyone else thought he was kind of paranoid. Right? Because his second in command kind of didn't really like the decision to be so, security focused.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, okay, dude, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. But was it him or one of the other dudes who had the line? No, it was one of the other guys, or his second dude who was like, what did you expect? We're in the Somali Ocean or whatever. There's going to be pirates.
Yeah, but I think that was just to get them on board with the situation more.
Yeah.
I don't know if they really were, if anyone was expecting to be attacked except for Phillips.
Yeah.
It was a bit paranoid, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. This feels like a weird point to make when there's been no hijacking in 200 years. And someone tells you, what did you expect? I'd tell them back, dickhead, this never happens. So what are you talking about, Okay. All right. That's fine. What do you think of Captain Phillips? I think none of us had seen it, so that's exciting. Fitzy, what do you think?
I thought it was okay. It was alright. It was I think the first half was pretty good on the big ship, the Mast, the Alabama.
Oh, the mask, is that how you say that word? Oh, of course.
Maersk?
There's just a weird extra E in there.
I don't know, yeah, it's a weird word.
I'll just go with mask. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I think the first half was pretty tense and them trying to hiding on the boat and kind of them versus pirates is pretty good. But then I think I don't know, I don't really like the movie once it gets to the little lifeboat thing. The rest yeah. So yeah, I think it's pretty meh, I guess, yeah.
Okay. All right. I largely agree with you, but I'm higher on it than you, I think. I think it's very good. Maybe a couple of things that hold it back from being an unreserved banger. But I'm going to gush about Paul Greengrass in this episode for sure, and I thought it was a great example of using cinema to build tension and create that experience because, this thing was based on the book account of the event, and I don't know, I don't want to read a book about this, this is one of those experiences that just the cinematic nature of it is what makes it engaging. I don't need to read. And then the pirates came on board, and then they turned the hoses on. You know what I mean? It's just so the way Greengrass handles that and nails it in the execution is what really made it. But I don't know, at its core, it's a story of an ordinary dude displaying heroism in a trying situation, and then the consequences of that experience, and that's pretty straightforward. Pretty simple stuff, but I mean, it's a true event, obviously, so there's that. But then also, I think the film consistently presents exclusively through visuals that aspect of it quite well. So I thought it was very well made, and I did enjoy it. Yeah, for sure. By the way, Jaden is on this episode, guys. He's back. He's here. He's in the room. We're trying to figure out how to make this more dramatic, but then we sort of we came up with nothing. So anyway, hi Jaden, how are you?
Awesome, great.
What did you think of Captain Phillips?
this movie was way better than I ever could have imagined. Um,
Nice. Okay. Okay.
from the get go, it felt like a Bourne movie. Like as soon as like Hanks and his wife are in the car, like the way that scene alone is shot, like with like the kind of zoom and like it's so tight on their faces and kind of just in there. I was like, this feels like Bourne. But no, I agree with both of you on the fact that once it gets in the boat, once it gets to the little boat, that whole thing probably goes for too long. That portion, it just extends a bit too much. But I still like everything that happens there. I guess. I think it's nuts, man. I never could have imagined like that's where the movie ends up going. You know, 3 Navy ships with snipers and shit. And I was like,
Mm.
I thought it was gonna be like a cat and mouse on the boat the entire time type thing. Um, but no, it was great. It was a great action piece. I think, I talk my fair share of shit about Tom Hanks just because cause it's fun. But I think Tom did great here. Especially like that closing scene. Like I know this is a common opinion, but like that closing scene is phenomenal with him. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. You touched on a lot there that I want to talk about. I just got to say, totally agree. I love that first scene of Phillips at his house. Like, dude, I've never seen a scene directed so intensely of just a man shuffling forms. You know what I mean? Like the camera's like, it's amazing. And that car ride, oh my god, I ate that shit up. Dude, I love Greengrass's direction all over this movie. Like, it totally elevates it to a next level. Without it, it's probably, I don't know, without it, it's like probably a decent movie. But I don't know, he brings so much to this. This is no doubt to me an example of a director coming in and putting their stamp, their flair all over it, which I loved. The close-ups are tight, the zooms, everything, the handheld shaky cam everywhere. Oh my god, I thought it was incredible. If you've seen, I'm so glad we did Born on the show and we talked about it all there because it feels totally consistent. But is this because what's that movie called, Fitzy, that you watched recently of his, the United, whatever the number is?
93 or 91?
United 90,
I think
something?
93.
93.
Okay. Okay. Is this a trademark Greengrass thing, and whatever he takes on, he brings that? Or is it...
Yeah.
Is it...
Yeah, I mean, in that
Okay.
movie, I think it's like, in that movie, it's probably even more exaggerated. But yeah, I did talk about how that movie has a exact same style. Yeah, obviously the style is here. And it's obviously, it's like way more noticeable when nothing's happening. Like, as you said, in the home scenes and the car scenes and stuff. But because it's a thriller, I think, like, shaky cam and that stuff just kind of comes with the thriller. So I didn't notice it as much in this. But it's obviously, like, omnipresent throughout the movie, his style. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I just wanted to ask about his filmography because I know he's done... like his most recent film is that other Tom Hanks one on Netflix, right? And isn't it like a Civil War piece or something like that? I don't...
Isn't it Goldfinch or whatever it is?
Hey?
Isn't was that him or was that another Tom Hanks film? I'm confusing it with.
Oh,
The one
yeah,
with,
yeah.
a Navy captain or whatever.
No, okay, you've somehow managed to confuse 3 Tom Hanks films because the Navy one is Greyhound. He's also in a film called Finch, which is a sci-fi film.
Yeah.
And then the one I think I'm talking about is like the retro, it's like a
News of the
period
World.
piece. Yes,
and then
yes.
The Goldfinch is a totally different movie, which doesn't have Tom Hanks.
Oh, right. Okay, right. But that was Finch. Okay, I see. But I was wondering. Does Paul Greengrass bring his insane shaky cam and close-ups to something like News of the World? Because it made me really curious to watch that film because I'm like, I don't know how he'd tackle that. Like, it feels like such a modern documentary style that he has. I feel like I just can't see him directing anything that's not modern day. You know, everything you're talking about with the tension, like the 2 scenes fairly back to back of the 2 boats coming up on the radar and approaching the ship the first time, and then there's the break where they sleep, and then it happens the second time with the one boat coming up on them. Those are like all-timer scenes to me. Like, those are some of the best tension execution in movies I've seen in forever. Like, I was on the edge of my seat. I thought it was so well done. The score was incredible as those boats approach, and everything that was happening, all the interplay between the characters as well was super interesting. the way Phillips was really responsive and clearly trying not to panic, but like everything he did with the when he like made the fake call, to the military base saying they were going to bring air support, like everything happening like plot wise in the scene, and then just the way it was directed, like that is no doubt the height of the movie for me. I thought it was incredible, and there was some fantastic aerial photography of the boats as well, and it was all really clear how far everything was. Like everything was really well shot and presented there. So I don't know, that was like a standout scene to me. I don't know if you guys feel similarly or just commenting on the way it does tension.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite part of the movie, the actual takeover of the boat and the trying, like the pirates trying to take it over, I guess.
And then like a bit afterwards as well when they're actually on it as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
That part too. Yeah. But the ramping tension there, I think, is the best when they're actually like in pursuit of the Alabama.
Yeah, for sure, dude. When that one guy went to go and fix the hose, I thought he was done. Like I was really tight on that. Like I was like, dude, this guy. I thought he was going to get shot for sure. So good for him. But yeah, I was super into it at that point. Yeah. Oh, I have to. I can't believe I didn't ask this first. So I sailed the 7 seas to watch this film. If you catch my drift, and which is the irony of that is not lost on me for this one. The first thought I had is I couldn't get the subtitles to work, so I didn't know if I was meant to be able to understand what the Somali were saying the whole time.
So, like, there's a decent portion of it that is subtitled, but there's also like phrases that are dispersed within that. So, like, some of it you're meant to understand, some of it you're not.
Right. Okay. I got none of it at all. So
right,
I felt
you're missing a massive part of the film, man.
That's incredible because, and that's actually might be one of my key like niggles that I get to, because I feel like Martin Scorsese out here like watching a film on mute. You know what I mean? I felt like I was like re-experiencing cinema in a new way, and I because that first scene hit when they're in Somalia, and we get introduced to them, and I'm like. It went on for about a minute, and I'm like, I think I'm meant to be able to read this. Is that what? Am I meant to be able to read that one?
Yeah, wait. Yeah. Isn't the subtitles on built into the movie?
Well, they weren't on this version, I'll tell you.
What the fuck, dude? That's crazy. That's actually so funny.
It went long because sometimes they just started talking a bit, and I'm like, this might be a quick scene. I don't know. It just kept going, and I'm like, okay, I think I'm meant to be able to understand this. And then I tried the subtitles, couldn't get them working, and then I just sort of ended up like I could have, I don't know, taken action and tried to do something about it. But at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna let it go and try and I thought it'd be like a different way to view the film. So I was trying to just get it from the visuals and and everything else about it, other than the actual words spoken. And so all the interplay between like the Somali characters and their like the warlord bosses and stuff. I didn't. It was all lost on me. Other than in that first scene, they were beefing. I could clearly see then later on there was clear disagreement and dysfunction between them in terms of whether to go back and pursue them again or not. So I feel like I got the gist, but like, was there any key stuff in that first scene, like right off the top of your head that like should change the film for me that you guys can think of? First of all, what the hell like did they actually say?
So like their village is a fishing village, but like it's later revealed that the Americans came in and they've fished the seas dry. So now that these guys have to rely on the warlords, a bit. So their warlords are like, you can now go be pirates on the sea. But the warlords got mad because they weren't at sea at that current time. So they sent a group out there and they're like, you better go out and sail the 7 seas and find someone to steal for. And and that first scene was a bit like, can you drive a boat? All right, you're going. Can you steer this? You're going. Kind of thing.
I see. Well, what are the character names? So, like the main guy, what's his name?
Muse.
Yeah, Muse. So like he was picking guys. He picked 3 guys. He picked like the young guy who like tried to convince him that he's like ready, and then there was the strong guy in the back who didn't really talk, the tall guy, and then there was the boat guy. Yeah, and they all like tried to like convince themselves that they were like ready for the job, and that was pretty much the opening scene.
Like by the boat guy, do you mean like the guy who was like hated Tom Hanks the whole time?
The guy who was steering the boat, or like steering the lifeboat.
Oh, okay. But then there was the other guy who was like had it out for Tom Hanks the whole time.
Yeah.
That was the strong guy.
Yeah, the strong guy. We'll go with that. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay. All right. So they actually, when they're talking about them being fishermen, I thought that was. I had fun trying to decipher that. So they actually were fishermen.
They were fishermen at a time.
Right. So then when Tom Hanks says, you guys aren't fishermen, he's saying like, he knows they are, but he's saying like, you guys are like so far out of your depth here trying to pull this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's just like as the film goes on, like he garners a better understanding of like kind of the situation that they're in, and especially with the young kid, he really feels pretty empathetic for. But like so like when like I feel like the line of "you aren't fishermen" is kind of like I can't recall like how far in of the film it is, but like it's both like a kind of dig at them, but it's also like you can't be fishermen type thing because you've got nothing left to fish.
Right.
It feels.
I think
interesting.
I think it's pointing to his naivety a bit, like Phillips's, because I think he just kind of assumes that they're like that they chose this kind of life or something.
Oh right, yeah.
I don't know.
Like he doesn't understand the real desperation of their situation.
Yeah, I think like he starts to understand that later.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I guess I didn't really understand that either. Yeah.
Because later is like when he asks Muse about, are you really fisherman? And he says basically like, because it's like international waters, like America like stole all the fish basically.
So I don't even really. I know it's real, but like I don't even. How does that work? How do you steal all the fish from the ocean? You know what I mean?
You just
fish
fish
it. Dumb question.
Like it's just like like how like that whole Seaspiracy documentary came out and I was like talking shit about like just like the fishing industry, where like you just have to like batch catch like millions of fish at a time, and it's just unsustainable way of fishing, and you just kill ecosystems off because you're getting that much. So like I'm sure they probably went to Somali, and killed all the tuna in the area so they can fill a few cans, and no more tuna.
Damn, fair enough.
Well, I think like a big part of the movie is like kind of sympathizing with the pirates, or like because I definitely felt bad for like Muse and like the younger kid, because their like position is very just like like desperate and like impoverished basically, like So I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah. Okay. So this was one of my things that I struggled to connect with the film, and I'm so glad that it's clearly now on me because, and I don't like regret watching it this way. By the way, like it was a different experience, but and no doubt an inferior one because it's not how it was meant to be seen. But I think I struggled with the Somali characters a little bit. It was one of the contributors to the second half not working as well for me, and we'll get into that. But like from my own looking at the characters purely from sort of how they were interacting with Tom Hanks and the roles they were filling, because that's all I could really get from it. Like they were fairly standard archetypes to me, that, and they never really evolved far beyond that. Like I was in there, and the whole time in that second half, it's like, okay, we got Muse's the most interesting, but then you've got like the strong guy who's like is pissed off all the time, and then you got the kid who's like sympathetic, and then you got the driver guy who I forgot was there. So like, and those characters to me, as I was watching it, I was struggling to see any real evolution, and at the same time, I was clearly missing important stuff about their motivations, and I was struggling to empathize with them the whole time. So I think that's what I was struggling with the most, because I think at the end, like you're clearly meant to care for their perspective when they get blasted,
Mainly for the kid.
For the kid, right? Okay. I mean, and that makes sense. I just thought it was a really cool scene, and I loved the impact it had on Phillips. But because my viewing experience was so rooted in Phillips' perspective, I never really I never really cared as much as I was clearly meant to, and that was sort of one of my takeaways. Yeah, obviously a very unique situation brought that around, but like I love, love, love that shot when they're all shot simultaneously. And by the way, like that set piece is definitely the best part of the second half. Like the whole concept of having to line up all three shots and get them green. And just no one does better like giving orders and Navy SEAL communication between people than Paul Greengrass in that dialogue. Like it's so well done. Every time I love being on the SEAL's perspective and on the whatever the ship is. I love being on that side of it. But like I love that shot when they all get shot at once and the blood splatters all over Tom Hanks and that take he does right there. That was incredible. So for me, like I felt it for him, and like I could clearly see at the end he was trying to save them. That was sort of what he was doing, right? When he decided to sit up and start fighting them, he was trying to disrupt.
Yeah.
He was trying to disrupt the sniper operation.
Well, he's trying to say that you could surrender and stuff because you can't. They're not going to let you get away. Is what he said.
Yeah.
They're not going to let you win. They're not going to let you take me back to Somali.
Yeah. Okay. So even though I struggled to empathize with the characters the same way he did, like I felt for him and his effort, and then the result that just crushing blow of them just getting like their guts literally ending up on him, and that his performance there as well. Like I was very much with him in that moment. I thought that was all well done.
Wait, you would have missed out on all the people calling Muse skinny then. That was like his nickname. That was big.
Well, it's not surprising. He was very skinny.
Yeah, but that's why he killed that dude. Because he called him skinny.
Which dude?
Remember he killed that... Oh, I think he killed him. He hit that guy with a tool or something. Like a metal...
Yeah. When...
The other boat leader.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I got from that scene was the fact that half of them thought it was too risky. The other guys still wanted to go for it. And then, is that accurate? And then basically Muse thought they were cowards and then took charge. That's sort of what I got from it.
Yeah. Well, he said, I may be skinny, but at least I'm not a coward. So.
Oh, okay, cool.
You're right, using that exact word. Because, yeah.
Cool. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. And Muse, dude, that guy had the skinniest face I've ever seen in my life. Like it was actually impressive. It was crazy, His name was Bakard Abdi. Him and none of the other Somali actors in quotes had never acted in their lives prior to this. So I think it's important to say that I thought they were very good. I mean, Muse is like a standout character. Like I remember his name first of all, and he's definitely the most interesting of them. I think he was the only one. Like I said, the different archetypes of the four, whatever. He's the one that like he doesn't feel like he fills an archetype. Like the whole time, I was sort of didn't know which way he was going to end up going on any given situation he had to deal with in the moment, and he went a few different ways throughout the film. So in terms of favoring Phillips and agreeing with him and not agreeing with him and whatever. So yeah, no, considering he's never acted before, I thought he was terrific. And I looked up his filmography and he's an actor now. He's in shitloads. And I actually feel like I'd seen him before. Yeah, he was in Blade Runner 2049 apparently, and I was like, "What?"
But, was he the wood guy? Like where like Ryan Gosling goes to him with the horse, and he's real wood, very expensive,
Yeah.
Was that him?
Oh
yeah, I think so.
The barter, the short, yeah.
But he's in shitloads though. Look at his filmography; it's crazy. So he's an actor now for sure. Yeah, Good Time. Yeah, that's right. So good for him. But yeah, no, I thought he was very good. I don't know if you guys agree.
Yeah, I was definitely watching him. I was more engaged in him than Tom Hanks for sure. Not that he's bad.
Oh, okay.
I never felt too rooted in Phillips. As like, I never felt like too connected with Phillips as well. I guess.
Do you disagree with that, Jane? I know you already brought up Tom Hanks. You heaped praise on Tom Hanks earlier than anyone could have possibly imagined from you.
I was completely on with Tom for this film, like just 100% dead. on. Like I thought he was the most captivating on screen. I think he actually finally because it wasn't. I mean, like, it's a very typical Hanks role, but at the same time, it just felt a bit different. Maybe because of how real it felt. Like, because as much as other ones of his films are based on real people, like, there often is an animated aspect of it, especially with like Catch Me If You Can because of the comedy. But it just felt so real, and it just felt, I don't know, just it felt raw, and like it just felt like I hadn't really seen Tom like that before. I think this is his best performance I've seen him in, just personally. Yeah, no, I thought he caught my eye in every scene he's in, and I think the only reason that lifeboat sequence was so enjoyable, watchable for so long was because of him.
Mm.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. It feels weird to, like, yeah, I don't know. It feels weird.
You also look like you're like struggling to understand what you're doing right now.
Yeah. But no, he was fantastic.
I struggle to disagree. Can you believe, like, with all the praise, as we all know, that Tom Hanks's career has had and the awards or whatever? I assume he's an Academy Award winner, right? I actually don't know for a fact, but like,
Yeah, I don't know either.
you think he would be. I don't know, but like he got no Academy Award nominations for this. That's sort of crazy to me, to be honest. I feel like that would be a shoe-in. If this film came out this year, like, it would be a shoe-in for me, no doubt. But no, I totally agree with you. I think what it was, I was trying to sort of think about what made it different for him. I think his character, like especially in the introduction scenes, he doesn't have a lot of dialogue. He doesn't speak a lot. He's and I think that sort of makes him feel like a more just regular, average sort of boss guy. Like he very much just feels like an everyman, just doing his job. Like he's the captain of this, ship. Cool, whatever. Like, and he just felt like a regular dude driving to work at the start. Like, and I feel like he's so often cast in these roles where he's a bigger personality. He's usually like takes up all the screen space, all the screen real estate in every movie he's in, just based on his personality and charisma, but also just based on the roles he's cast in. I feel like he's always meant to be this sort of larger than life figure in a film. Maybe not always, but I feel like that's often the case. Or when he plays a leader, he's like meant to be a more he has more dialogue and he's meant to be more have a bit more bravado to him or something like that. I don't know. So for me, I just thought he was more subdued. Felt much more like a real person. Like even the facial hair sort of adds to that as well, I think. And at all times, and this is great direction as well. Like it's these other little details I love that. Like at all times, the actors in the frame, and it's mainly Hanks, dirty, sweaty. There's a lot of attention to detail to make that performance more immersive. Like I love that he's got sweat on his shirt and all this sort of stuff. And I love the scene where, is it Muse or the other guy, when he sticks the gun to his head for an extended period of time. The other guy, the strong guy, when he sticks the gun to his head for an extended period of time and pulls back the gun, like there's a few minutes where Tom Hanks has got like an indent on the top of his forehead, of like, and it's red and shit. And I'm like, that would be these little details that would be so overlooked if anyone else was doing this, and it just makes it feel, like Jaden said, raw is the best word I can come up with. Like it feels raw, it feels real. Combined with Tom Hanks sort of taking on this more regular, subdued role, like it just makes it feel different. It hits different for him, I think. Yeah, I loved it. And I mean, there's only so many things you can say about the final scene with him in shock. You said that was like a common opinion, Jane. So is that like a well-regarded scene generally?
Yeah, just like I read a few of like the top reviews on Letterboxd, and I think they all mentioned it. So I was like,
okay,
everyone must think that.
I never heard of the scene. I was blown away by it. It actually might be. It's the best Tom Hanks acting I've ever seen. Just that one scene, and it's honestly might be in like the top 10 scenes of performances I've seen. It was pretty incredible. His delivery and just it felt super real, super raw. It was really fantastic. I read in the trivia that the real captain of the ship they were shooting on was observing the scene, and he said Like he started tearing up and said, like that's exactly what it's like. I've seen this so many times that people be in shock and come in here like that, and that's exactly what it's like. So I mean, it's pretty high praise, I guess. Yeah, I thought it was remarkable. I think I had some trivia about the scene actually. The hospital corpseman in the infirmary scene was a real Navy corpseman. Her name was Danielle Albert, apparently. The director told her to treat Tom Hanks like it was a regular military exercise. So she came in, she's not an actor, and the whole sequence was unscripted and improvised.
Well done, Tom.
We've already brought it up a few times. What are the aspects that make the second half hit a bit less? You know, I don't know, because I definitely agree with you, Liam, that I was into the film most for sure when Phillips and the crew had more agency in the situation.
Yeah, that's true. It does become like Tom Hanks does become kind of a passive victim character.
Right.
But also,
right. Yeah.
the film definitely feels like it's trying to make a statement on, like, you know, the force of the military, or like the conditions of America versus other countries. Like they bring like 3 naval boats in for like to kill 3 people. So the movie like becomes less of a thriller for me. It's more of like a commentary kind of thing, which it builds to the whole time. I mean, that opening scene is like, I think that opening scene is bad, by the way, in the car. I mean, I feel like the dialogue is very stilted and awkward, but the movie does feel like it's somewhat building to like a you know, capitalism bad kind of commentary, and the movie kind of becomes, I mean, it's tense in the sense that it's claustrophobic. Everyone's like pretty frantic for, like, you know, water and food and just to get outside of the boat. But in general, you're just kind of waiting for the Navy to win, kind of, and there's less, as you said, like agency, and it's just, I don't know, it's very grating for me, just the entire second half. Yeah.
I guess, yeah, you're right. Like, while they're on the ship, any outcome's possible, but then as soon as he hits that lifeboat, you know that there's only one thing that's going to happen, which is him going to escape or be saved or something like that. So
Yeah, it does feel like a build up to like an inevitable outcome, kind of. And plus the fact that I was less rooted in Tom Hanks's character, like I really, I knew he was probably going to survive, but, you know, if he died, I wouldn't really care that much. Just saying. But like, but when we were on the ship, like, there were so many characters there that could have died, and the fact that no one died is like very surprising to me. You know?
Yeah.
It's like that feels like a very like natural thing for the movie to do. Just like,
it's a real story, Liam. Don't forget that.
Yes.
Like, yeah, it was like a natural thing for the movie to do. I mean, like, you don't want to.
Oh yeah, true.
You don't want to go start killing people that didn't die.
Right. No, yeah.
I think Fred didn't have an issue with that. You know.
But yeah, it felt like surely one of them would die, and then that would, like, you know, be like kind of shocking moment. But
I think if one of them died, it'd be too hard to keep the pirates in an equal light.
Like to
keep them sympathetic or something like that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. It does feel like everything happening on the ship, like we already talked about the great tension piece of them getting on the ship, but then even when they're on the ship, like there's some really solid. I wanted to get more time with the crew. I feel like there was some really good potential there. I liked all the casting. I liked their dynamics with Phillips and how, like, it was sort of like, you know, adversarial is a strong word, but like sort of a standard maybe like boss employee dynamic where it's like, yeah, this he's kind of an asshole, you know, like he makes us do these drills, you know, and then it ends up being real. So there was some interesting stuff to play with there, but then he clearly, you know, goes out of his way to try and save his team, and they all see that and try and help him. So like there was some good stuff there that I feel like I would have liked to have seen more of. But then just everything with them sneaking around on the ship, and I was really engaged with Phillips, like always trying to manipulate the situation, like in these really clever ways of, like, you know, put the glass on the floor and trying to send hidden messages to his crew and turning on the walkie-talkie for little segments deliberately, like all those little things. Yeah, it really did feel like anything could happen. as they were moving around and as everyone was trying to sneak around and get the advantage in the situation, it did feel like it was some sort of all-out conflict that was more engaging. Yeah. So I think saying that the possibilities were endless there is the right way to put it. And then once you get into the submarine, it changes the dynamic of the film significantly. And it was sort of a bummer because not that I think the film gets bad or anything. I don't want to sound like that, but it does. It was one of the first moments that took me out of the film because I was really into it, and then it was like because he's not meant to get on the submarine. They take him on the submarine as a hostage, and so in that moment, for the first time, I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess this had to happen because." Like we're only 45 minutes into this movie, like it was the first time I sort of zoomed out, became self-aware, and I was like, oh, the runtime would sort of dictate something like this would have to happen, because up until that point, everything felt really natural and was actually moving quite quickly. So yeah. So that was the one thing that sort of weighed it down a little bit. I agree, but I do disagree with Fitzy a little bit just because I did really enjoy the final sniper stuff. That brought me back around. But I guess the prolonged sort of period of Hanks just hanging out there, hanging out sounds like I'm considering what he was going through. But the period, the 24-hour or so period before where they're sort of just talking on the boat, and I was not getting any subtitles, was definitely the lull of it. But it sounds like with the subtitles, you guys still felt the same anyway. So
Not too much, not really. Like it wasn't. I just think that it lost some of its conciseness in that second half when it transitioned. I don't think it really I don't think it was too much. It wasn't too much worse. It was just it wasn't even any worse. It was. I just think it lost like one key feature, and I think that was just like how succinctly and cleanly everything was presented so far.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, what I keep saying submarine, but like it sort of looks like a submarine. It's a lifeboat. And I want to get. Have you guys seen Rush?
The Khan movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
You have. Okay, I want to get your take on this, Fitzy. Originally, Ron Howard was on board as the director in the development stage for this film. Howard, though, would eventually swap films with Paul Greengrass, who was meant to direct Rush. So they switched. They both came out the same year. Really odd situation. I don't even know how that came out. So, like, can you imagine a Rush being directed by Greengrass and Howard doing this film, or the possibilities of that switch up?
To be fair, this kind of does seem like a Howard film.
Yeah.
Premise-wise, it does.
The subject matter seems a bit,
totally
ordinary guy in his bad trade. That would be crazy. Some crazy car sequences there. You wouldn't be able to follow anything, but
yeah.
That'd be good. I like Rush how it is though.
Right. I like this film how it is. So like, I feel like it worked out okay. I love Ron Howard. Don't get me wrong, but I'm very pleased with this. I don't need Ron Howard directing this movie. It's fine.
It's not talking about a standout, but do you think shooting a film like this would be more expensive than, like, I don't know? Do you think this was an expensive film to shoot? Like, if you didn't know the budget, I don't know if you do or not, because I don't.
But,
like,
do you want to guess?
I feel like it wouldn't be that expensive to shoot. I think a lot of it would go to cast, to Tom Hanks specifically. But then, like, in terms of, like, you're pretty confined in most things, and I feel like if you hire out, like, a destroyer for a day, you can film most of your stuff that you need to.
But, like, doesn't the US military often support that sort of stuff?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I don't even know if that's necessarily, like, a cost. But I don't know how that works exactly. But yeah, it's a good question. I don't think so. It was very well done. Like I already said, I thought it was always very clear what was happening. I don't know, like if I were to guess, $30 million maybe?
All right, I got a number here, Liam. What do you reckon?
Oh, what's your number?
Well, I can't say the number now, but I've seen the number.
Oh, you've seen the... Oh, okay.
I just saw it now.
50 million.
Yeah, 55 million.
55, yeah.
Cool.
Which is more than I would have thought, but I reckon like 25 of that goes to Tom Hanks.
Yeah, for real though, probably he'd probably get what, like 15? Maybe?
Easy, yeah.
I reckon.
If Julia Roberts gets 15, then he gets 15 for that. Surely.
Yeah, she got 15 in 1995 or whatever it was. Damn. Yeah. That's crazy. Okay.
Because I don't know
find
why,
that
but
stuff-
it just felt like I don't know why I had that impression that it wasn't an expensive shoot to film.
Well, we
If it was a
we
shoot.
spend like what, probably a good hour on the lifeboat, and that was all shot in a pool in a studio. So
Yeah,
I mean, I can see that. Yeah.
I guess some of the other sea stuff, bit of coordination, might be a bit hard.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to final verdicts for Captain Phillips. Fitzy.
Go to Jane first. Just go to Jane first.
Jaden.
I'm giving it an 8. I thought this movie was fantastic. Like I said, it's like it blew me out of the like I never would have. I never would have thought the film would become what it was, or even that it was what it could have been at the start. Yeah, Hanks is phenomenal for the standout for me. I just think the whole film is just so fantastic. But obviously, it doesn't have that last layer of connection. So,
Yeah. Cool. That's good. Oh, you know what? I'll give it an 8 too. I will. I feel like I've been a bit more negative than I intended to be. A little bit. But I think it's a good... No, maybe not. I don't know. It's a great film. I loved a lot about it. Some little things, some little quibbles and stuff. Most of which were caused by my own illegal activity. But other than that, yeah, I thought it was pretty damn solid. What about you, Fitzy?
I feel like it deserves a 6, but I'll give it a 5 for the second half. Yeah.
I thought it was going to be reversed. I thought you were going to it deserves a 6, but I want to conform to you, so I'll give it a 7. You went the other way.
Right.
You went harder. That's cool.
Yeah.
I respect it. Nice. Wow.
I mean, everyone's good. Tom Cruise is good. Everything's good.
Tom Cruise is very good.
Tom Cruise, yeah. He's good.
There was a news report on this morning on the Today Show as I walked past of them Neighbours coming back, and it was, the cheesy 9 edit news story put together, and they were like, Neighbours launched the career of Kylie Minogue, I don't know, they said someone, Margot Robbie, and and Guy Ritchie, and they showed Guy Pearce. I thought it was hilarious.
They say Guy Ritchie. Oh,
they say Guy Ritchie. Yeah, Neighbours really, did wonders for Guy Ritchie's filmography,
Mm.
Anyway, I thought that was hilarious. News chat. Guys, Tarantino's making a TV show. This is one of the weirdest news stories to come out because what do we know? He said he's shooting a show. He said it's 8 episodes, a limited series, and he hopes to start shooting in early 2023. Because he was just I think he was just throwing this out there in an interview he was doing for press for his book. So, all right, cool.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Are you surprised, Fitzy, by him wanting to take on TV? Is that... I wouldn't... I'm not saying I ever, knew this for a fact, but I just wouldn't have been surprised if he was a bit of a, snob in terms of... I'm not going to direct something that doesn't go to a theatre,
Yeah, but I feel like miniseries-wise, Western directors have kind of started to make... Nicholas Winding Refn made a miniseries with, Miles Teller, and then Soderbergh has made a few miniseries, so I feel like there's a small, acceptance of it, market for it, yeah. But it's just an excuse to make stuff and not call it a film. He wants his 10 films.
Yeah.
11 films really. But...
Yeah. He's just gonna make a lot of short films and then put them together as a series.
Yeah, it's an anthology series. Yeah.
It's gonna be like Intergalactic was meant to be, where if you just combine them, it's just a film. But they're released as a... I haven't made my 10th film yet. Yeah. It's a Netflix special. Yeah. Okay. What do you think of this, Jane? And is there anything in particular, I don't know, that you'd want to see out of him? It's hard with nothing, but...
I don't know. Because, is his Star Trek, project dead in the water? Cause, Star Trek TV has made a bit of a revival. I wonder if, he's trying to... If he's trying to transition that into a limited TV series.
That'd be very interesting. That's a good thought. I don't know if Paramount would go for that, but... Yeah. So, with that, cause I know he's been talking about that. He's talked about that in the past. Is that something is that basically just fan fiction that he's talked about, or was it actually something that was going through studios at some point?
no recollection of
Okay.
it at that now.
Yeah.
I don't know. We probably talked about it 2 years ago
Yeah, go back
on
to
the show.
episode 16 or whatever.
Yeah. That's why we need an archivist.
Yeah. Yeah. Any work experience, hit me up. Yeah. We'll see what it is. I assume we'll know if it's shooting soon, we'll know what it is sooner rather than later anyway. So, all right. There was Magic Mike's Last Dance trailer.
Oh, yes.
The finale to the Immaculate Magic Mike trilogy, you know?
Hell yeah.
I don't know anything about this. Should we do this as a franchise when this is coming out? Or is it worthy of that?
Totally, yeah.
Okay.
I'm interested
down.
to see what you guys think of it, yeah.
Okay. When's this coming out, this new one?
I don't know, it said 2023.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. What did you think of the trailer?
It was very good. It was very good. The first two Magic Mics are very they're very broy. Like they have like he has a lot of like friends in there, and they're like a cool little group, you know, of
Okay.
male dancers. This one is like he's alone and he's going on his own kind of path. So it's a bit different. It feels like more of a traditional like, you know, rags to riches kind of thing. But yeah, Soderbergh's directing it again. He directed the first one. The first one was pretty good. Matthew McConaughey's in that. Matthew McConaughey's like really funny in that movie. The second one's probably better, but you know, I'm happy that Soderbergh is back for Magic Mike.
Yeah,
for
naturally.
Channing Tatum. Yeah.
Yeah. Should change your intro to Soderbergh's #1
fanboy.
Yeah.
I've only got like 5 films to watch, and then I'll be happy. Like, you know, I wouldn't have completed his filmography, but I'll be like, okay, I've watched a few films of his now.
Right.
Like, I've watched like 13, but it's not enough, you know? It's like, I haven't watched the main ones yet, so it doesn't count.
Well, now it's time for our highlights of the week, I guess. Jaden, what have you been watching?
I finally got around to the 3rd season of Love, Death and Robots, which you watched the David Fincher directed episode, right? But nothing else.
I did. That's correct.
Yeah. And Liam, you haven't watched any of it, have you? Or you watched?
No, I watched some of it.
You watched some of it, yeah. Season 3 is like really, really good. It's the most consistent season they've put out. I've got such a strange relationship with the series because like as I'm watching it, I'm never overly thrilled with it. But then like whenever people talk about it, I'm always like, oh yeah, I love it. And I'm like, what do I actually love about it? But now like I feel like with this season 3, it definitely has like the best. I don't know. It's the most consistent in quality. I feel like 2 of the stories are really great, really funny. Mason's Rats and Night of the Mini Dead. Night of the Mini Dead's really cool because like this like tilt shift photography type thing where like it's all miniature and it's all like just about a zombie apocalypse, and it's really, really funny, really quaint, really cute. There's obviously Fincher's episode, which is awesome, but like it just feels a bit short. I mean, I get like obviously the series is about, you know, short stories, but it feels like Fincher didn't entirely master, you know, conveying everything he needed in that time without it feeling rushed. He was nearly there, but I think it was just that tad bit. There's a tad bit missing from it, or a tad bit too fast. There's something there that needed a bit of work, I think.
David Fincher will do better next time.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. The best thing that the best one was the season closer, which was Jabaro, which I thought was going to be like a throwaway because like with the release of each season, there's like one that like they kind of push a bit, and that like from the trailers they kind of seem to be a bit more, you know, kind of, you know, weighted in the franchise. Like in the first season it was The Witness, in the second season it was Pop Squad, and in this 3rd season it felt like Jabaro was going to be that. And in the first 2 seasons those episodes were decent outputs, but they weren't ever the greatest in my opinion. But Jabaro is phenomenal. Just true, just like the way it uses sound, and it's just dizzying and just engaging, and just it's just like it's about a deaf like a deaf Spanish soldier and like I don't know, conquering in the South America or something like that, and like this like cursed woman in a lake type thing, and like it's just so fascinating, and just like the the pace is so disorientating, but like I can't even describe it. Like Chibara is like truly phenomenal. Like and like it just blew me out of the water. I guess that's two things in this week that I just didn't. I could never expect it. Like it would be like that. I wouldn't recommend to go into it like cold though. Like you probably need to do watch a few of the other stories just to understand like what the whole series is about. Like I think if you'd have just watched this on its own, unless you specifically liked this kind of fiction, then you probably won't get behind it. I think there's also just a ton of other great stories. Like there's one called The Very Pulse of the Machine, which is like a more traditional animated, not computer CG. And it's just a bit. It's like a poetic type thing on about some astronauts on Titan or Io or something like that, which is really nice. But yeah, no, this was a great season. Oh, actually, no. It opened up with 3 robots, which is the worst fucking thing. 3 robots for some reason has become like in the first season. It was one of the stories, and people liked it a lot. So much so that it got a second story in this 3rd season. But 3 robots sucks ass, man. Like the comedy is shit ass, and like it's just not good. I hate that it's like the most popular one.
Interesting. Is that the only example of one getting a sequel?
Yes, I think so. Like the animation studio for a few of them have come back.
I mean, the question I had, someone who watched the Fincher one and enjoyed it, that one's fully mocapped. So is that the case for all of them? Well, I assume the one that was traditionally animated wasn't, but like, is that are they even so fundamentally different? I know they have different art styles, but are they even so fundamentally different as in like how they're made as well?
I think so. Yeah.
That's cool.
I think a lot of the ones that look like game CG are just done in engine and just like
Just mocapped.
yeah.
Cool.
But then like yeah, obviously there's like yeah, I don't know. There's different styles. There's one live action one from season 1.
There's a lot. Oh, weird.
It's kind of live action, but then there's also a bit of animation in it as well.
Interesting.
But like but yeah, there's a bunch of different stuff.
My favorite episode is the Zima episode.
Yeah,
with the
that's
robot.
a really strong one.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I watched Doctor Strange.
The second one.
Yeah, in the Multiverse of Madness. I don't know, this movie does nothing for me. I don't know. I feel like I was missing something. I feel like I was watching Captain Phillips, and they were like, like the subtitles or something. I don't know. Oh, you know what it is? Actually, it's just Sam Raimi. I just don't vibe with him at all as a filmmaker, and I think that's what it is in terms of people being able to latch on to his vibe and sort of enjoy that, because I just can't enjoy it. I don't know. As we come to learn very clearly in the Spider-Man series reviews we did. But like, is it just me, or did like nothing happen in this movie? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the whole point, at least to me, or what my perception of it going in was going to be, like of the MCU doing all this multiverse stuff, it's just been so lame so far, in my opinion. Like, I thought the whole, as someone who's not like a comic person, all that sort of stuff, but I thought the whole point, or my understanding of what would be the appeal of them opening the multiverse would be this. It would be this big universe across all the different stories event of the multiverse now coming into play, and that impacting all the stories in different ways, and then the characters probably coming together to do something about it, close it. I don't know, whatever, unite the timeline, whatever bullshit they have to do. But like, dude, every single story with the multiverse in it so far has been completely unrelated and not connected whatsoever, has not impacted the other in any way. It just, I don't know. I thought this shit was going to be like, I thought the whole appeal of the MCU was this stuff was going to be fun, how it was tied into each other, and I don't know. Like, I thought for sure going in, like, it was going to be some sort of consequence because of what Doctor Strange had done in Spider-Man or something, right? Like, I thought that was a no-brainer. And then it just feels like instead of like the introduction of the multiverse into the universe, instead of it being like this cool story thread that continues throughout multiple stories. Instead, it's just this concept that now that they can use if they want to, and that's it, on an individual basis. And it's just lame. I don't know, dude. Like, this movie ended, and I felt like it achieved nothing. But and I thought for sure, like, even if I wasn't going in expecting it like to love it, and it's still like a competent made film. I really like Benedict Cumberbatch as the character. I really enjoy him, but Like, I thought the bare minimum for me was going to be like, oh, it's going to have some impact on the saga, on the others. But I don't know. I'm not tripping out.
Wasn't it fun though? It was a fun movie. It was a good movie.
It was pretty boring. I don't know.
Boring.
I was shocked
Yes,
by
it
John
was.
Krasinski though. That was crazy. I did not
Oh
expect
yeah,
that.
I
That
love
was
that.
wild.
I love that entire sequence. I think that's epic.
That was
That shit
cool.
was great.
Patrick Stewart was cool. I mean, we knew he was in it, but that was cool. That was cool.
I just think my biggest issue with the film is just making Wanda a villain. I just don't think that was a path. Like, I know they tried to set that up a bit with with WandaVision, but even when that concluded, her character wasn't bad. It was just neutral, Like, the audience was positioned in like an understanding part of like why it happened, why she did it. It was kind of an accident, really. But then this film kind of goes balls to the wall and like makes her evil, and like I just think that's not where I saw this version going, or where I would have wanted it to go.
Yeah, the movie. I haven't seen WandaVision, but the movie feels like total fan fiction. Like, I love that about the movie. That's what I love about the movie. It's just total randomness. Like, it doesn't abide by any MCU rules. Trying to connect all the movies together and all that lame shit. It's good by itself. It does its own thing. It's nuts. It's inconsistent with the rest of the MCU, and that's what makes it fun.
Wow. Okay. So I guess I totally agree with you, Fitzy. But it's like, I didn't like it. It was different. I just didn't like it. Yeah. Because there's no doubt it felt like fan fiction. It's a good point.
Mm.
There was that other character. Like, who was that other girl meant to be? The girl with the portals? The star portals?
America Chavez.
But like, is she a comic character that's going to be recurring in some form?
Yeah, she's a comic character, and she'll probably be part of like the Young Avengers or whatever they do. It's like the new type thing.
Okay. Anyway, sorry, I feel like I'm being way too like self-reflective on Doctor Strange right now. It's all good. Fitzy, what have you been watching?
I watched Natural Born Killers, which is easily the craziest film I've ever seen. Like, way, like, formally, like, way crazier than like JFK or like Ambulance, even.
What?
Like, tonally and formally, it's just like all over the place. Like, 90% of the film is shot like as like a Dutch angle, slightly tilted, and it just flashes between black and white, blue, green, animated. And then on top of that, there's like a murder and like there's like killing in like every scene, pretty much. And it's a very like incoherent film, like kind of feels somewhat like purposefully like incoherent. Like, it's, I guess, if you want to call it something, it's like a critique of the media. I guess the media is like, coverage of violence or whatever. But it's like, yeah, definitely. It feels like not a consistent philosophy, but it also feels like it's at the same time like what do you call it? Like when you like advertise something, you're like pushing for it, and it's like propaganda. Yeah, it feels like propaganda. It feels like yeah, like kind of like purposeful propaganda or something. I don't know. It's an extremely weird movie, but Woody Harrelson and Mallory, that actress, they're pretty good in it.
RDJ's in it as well, right?
Yeah, well, okay, so like the first half of the film, so like I watched the film in two parts, and I saw someone praising RDJ's performance, and it's like I want to watch it for him. And the first half is okay. It's kind of what I said. It's like 50 different colors animated. Cameras going all over the place. Can't follow shit. But then it becomes. I mean, it kind of becomes more of a narrative, and like there's like one big event kind of, and RDJ becomes a bigger focus, and he's got this amazing, like incredible Australian accent. It's the funniest shit I've ever seen. Like as soon as he was introduced as like the reporter, and he's like, I'm out here in the, this springs, the Route 666, yeah. It's really fucking great. And it's like it's an amazing performance. Like RDJ is like the best part of the film. From every time he's on screen, it's like holy shit. There's like a 10 out of 10 movie right now. It's because he's like doing this shit. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to talk about. It's hard to rate. It's hard to like, qualify. But he is like my favorite part of the film because he's just amazing. But yeah, Woody Harrelson's pretty charismatic as well. Juliet something who plays Mallory, she's like very, wild as well. Everyone's wild in the film. Fucking what's his name? Tom, No Country for Old Men guy, the old guy.
Oh,
Two
Tommy Lee
Face.
Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones. He's batshit. Everyone's batshit. But I would recommend it because I think it's just like it goes there. It just does its thing. It doesn't give a shit.
It doesn't. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I needed to know. Did you like it? But it's a recommendation. So yes.
I liked it, but some of the parts I didn't like. I guess Tom Sizemore's bits I didn't really like as much. He was the guy in Heat. I'm less engaged by Mickey and Mallory than I am by RDJ, but at the same time, there's some really cool sequences with them. So it's like the ultimate mix of, good and bad. But I like it overall. Okay. I love it because of RDJ, and I don't love it because of other things being less engaging. But
sounds like there's a lot going on.
The most going on, yeah.
All right, very good. Now comes the segment where we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, what is your least favourite Tom Hanks movie based on a true story? Do I regret making it least favourite? Yes. Yes, I do. But it's okay. Where do I start here? Luke said, Luke just agreed with me so much on that he just like completely changed the question. He says, Captain Phillips looks dumb. I haven't seen it, but I know that one line that's a meme now. Oh, do you guys know what that line is?
Yeah, I'm the captain now.
I am the captain now.
Is it when Muse says it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's pretty funny. Okay. There are much better Tom Hanks movies based on true stories. Sully is the best. Okay, so Sully is the best Tom Hanks movie based on a true story. He's changed the question, but that's fine. Thank you, Luke. Yeah, Sully's quite good. I think I've seen it like 3 times, because I feel like it kept popping up in RE. Did we watch it in RE, Fitzy? Was that us?
Yeah, I think so. I remember watching a list.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Annie says, Captain Phillips looks dumb. Captain Phillips looks dumb. I haven't seen it either. God, what's up with the hate for Captain Phillips for people who haven't seen it? What the hell? The only Tom Hanks movie based on a true story that I've seen is Spielberg's Catch Me If You Can. So that must be my least favourite. No workings will be conducted. I don't know. I feel like surely people have seen more than that because as we did last week, if you look at Tom Hanks movies based on true stories, there's an incredible amount. It's like absurd, actually. But they're all pretty good, This did end up being a tricky question. But no doubt, my least favourite Tom Hanks movie based on a true story is Cloud Atlas. No, I'm just kidding. So, and now I know I argued against this. I know. I'm sorry, Jane. I know I argued against it, but then I needed an answer. Okay,
Yeah.
and I googled, is Saving Private Ryan based on a true story? And it was like it's loosely based on something that happened with these brothers. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm doing it. Saving Private Ryan is my least favorite. I don't dislike it. It's a well-made film. It's a good film. I think it's severely overrated, and I don't love it by any means at all. It's decent, you know what I mean? So, like, by default, when I was comparing it against its competition, like I love Catch Me If You Can. I think I've seen Bridge of Spies. I think it's really good. I'm already blanking on some others, but we went through so many. I thought a ton of them are bangers. So,
okay, so my 4 choices: A League of Their Own, Sully, Catch Me If You Can, Saving Private Ryan. Now, my choice is Sully. Not because it's a bad film, just because it's the worst of that list. But I do think Sully is like my favorite. I don't know why I've rated it so low. It's out of 5 currently, but it is like one of my favorite Tom Hanks performances. I think Tom Hanks is like like it is most like entertaining in Sully. So Sully's a good movie, but the other movies are actually good to great. So that's my choice.
Tom Hanks is Sully. That's what you've always wanted to see. He just becomes Sully, Jad, what have you got for us?
From what I've seen, it's Saving Private Ryan. I don't like that movie. I don't know why I've got it rated at a 7, but I don't like that movie. I don't care to revisit it to see if that rating's accurate.
Yeah.
But since you've already said that, I will say The Post instead. The Post is fine. I think I've got a 6 on that. It's just so boring, and like it's a spotlight wannabe, and it just does nothing to even get close to its quality. It's just dull, man. It's so dull. Yeah, The Post.
Damn. Okay. I wanted to see The Post because I know. I feel like I sort of like that sort of stuff, except Spotlight, and and Bob Odenkirk's in it.
Really?
So like, yeah.
Meryl Streep.
So that's a bit of a bummer, to be honest. I'm a bit disappointed, but okay. As always, we'd love you to submit your questions, thoughts, reviews for next week's film in the YouTube comment section. Send us a DM on Instagram or join the Discord server. This week, we're asking you, what is the best Brad Pitt movie? Tons of choices. Immediate doubt, but that's okay. That's it for this week's episode of Cinema Effect. Fitzy, what are we doing next week?
We're doing The Mexican. Zach are doing The Mexican, which is a movie with Brad Pitt and James Gandolfini and Julia Roberts. It's about.
Shit, you didn't say that when you pitched it.
Oh,
you did.
I did.
Oh,
you just tuned it out because you didn't.
I did. Yeah, I totally did. Yeah.
But it's about this guy who wants to get out of the gangster business. So he has to. But okay, so.
Oh, we forgot to bring up the mafia aspect of the film. Fuck.
Oh yeah, true.
It's not too late. We're still recording.
This film, Captain Phillips kind of had a mafia, an African mafia.
African mafia equivalent, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he wants to get out, but he has to do this last thing. He has to find this item in Mexico, and it's kind of a goofy comedy. All these things go wrong, and James Gandolfini captures his girlfriend, and yeah.
Oh, so now we're just explaining the plot of the film, okay?
Yeah, and then this happens,
Then Brad Pitt dies. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, all right. We look forward to doing that. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks Liam and Jane for joining me as always. Have a great rest of your week, and goodbye.